I wanted to make sure that this thing was capable and able to handle whatever I really throw at it. I really like the dark, cozy feeling of everything. And part of my business is doing holistic nutrition. So a fridge, a big one, was a must for me. Everything is simple, it's easy, and it looks clean. And I really like that. What's up, y'all? I'm Meg. This is the Megalodon, and let's go check it out. We are inside the Megalodon now. This is my kitchen area. So we'll start off with my stove. I have a 2-burner propane top stove. I went with a farmhouse sink here. It's like a gray kind of stone cement type look to it. It has worked really well. I wanted something deep so that I could kind of pile up my dishes if need be and then cover it up. We have this nice big faucet here that extends out. You can move it around. I like that I can kind of push it away because this is what I use for my kitchen space too. This is an instant hot water heater. You can do instant hot water. It also has cold water. So I like using this for teas, or if I don't have propane at some point in time, this is great. If I want to like have boiling water, I can still do everything I need to do. I also have a 3-stage water filter system from, I believe it's from Clearly Filtered. So I never have to worry about filling up my water tank because it's always going through filters and I have clean water to drink. I also have 3 dogs, so that's really helpful to make sure they always have water to drink. Underneath the sink, I have my extra toilet papers because it's convenient. I can reach it from the bathroom. And I have like just fruits, avocados, things like that. I store my little dry foods there. My propane tank is up under the sink. It is mounted up in there. That's also where my 3-stage water filter system is. And then in this cabinet over here, this is where I have more cleaning stuff, my dish rack, drying area. Everything up in that cabinet is basically electronic. So my security system where my WeBoost is, I have my amp in there. All of my electronics and controls are in that box. This is one of my pantries. It slides out, so it's just easy to see everything, keep it organized in there. This is where my fridge is, as you can see, nice and big. I like to eat, and part of my business is doing holistic nutrition. So a fridge, a big one, was a must for me. Also, I feed the dogs all like whole foods and vegetables and things like that. So their foods take up a lot of space in here. This is a 12-volt fridge, so that's really nice. It doesn't draw too much power, to be honest, a lot less than I was expecting it to. So it's always running. That's good to go. I also like living in a van. I feel like because you have everything you need with you. I think that was a huge thing. I've never been a fan of having to pack. That was my least favorite part of traveling, was having to pack everything up and then unpack when you got home from the trip. So just having everything all in one place, no matter where you go, is super convenient. Up here, I did a spice rack. They're easy to grab. I have these really strong earth magnets on here, so they don't move around or bounce around at all while I'm driving. They stay exactly in place, which I feel like that was a really good add-on and super convenient just to unscrew them and use them. I do wish I had a little more countertop room because now that I'm living in it full time, I'm realizing that I kind of just have to make it work. This has to be in place a lot of the time so I can set stuff on it. Same with these burners. Sometimes I'll just put stuff on it. I do have a slide out cutting board that I'll extend sometimes and I'll use that as extra counter space. And you just make it work as you go. I really like the dark, cozy feeling of everything, but I didn't want it to be too dark in here, so that's why I went with the white walls around and the white cabinets behind me. I actually saw this idea, something similar to this, where it was on the side of a van one time as like their backsplash, and it was just like all different color woods, but because I was doing the 2-tone cabinets and went with black, white, and brown, I wanted to combine it all together and kind of have a focal point of the van. So I thought this was a good touch to that. So these walls in the shower, they are all custom made. It was kind of a trial during my build. I originally wanted to get like corrugated walls, but with the way they had to be mounted, that didn't work. So we ended up going with flat ones. And then on the outside, we did a corrugated panel. They have been holding up really well so far. I wanted a very rustic look to match with the wood and everything. So I feel like this kind of just like blended together. I'm a very neutral person, so I just wanted to do black, white, and browns everywhere. And with the way it all worked out, I feel like it ended up blending pretty good. Originally, I didn't think I wasn't too fond of the idea to do a toilet in the shower, but you have to make it work, and it just is what it is. I do have a cover over my toilet. It is a dry flush toilet, so I didn't want to have to worry about like finding a place to dump everything, and the compost toilet just seemed like a lot of work. I wanted things to be simple and as easy as possible for me. I also have these built-in shelves back here where I just have my shampoos, conditioners, soaps, things like that. I have teak flooring in here, these inserts, so the only time that I really take these out is when I need to clean underneath there. So it gets dog hair in there just because it's out in the open a lot. So I'll take the toilet out, I'll pull the inserts out, and I just easily wipe underneath there. It's super easy to clean. Put it back in there, and it's good for like another month. There's a lot of things that I did not expect. I always knew that it was going to be an adjustment. But whether you're doing it DIY, you're having somebody build out your rig, whatever it may be, make sure you do a ton of research because there is a lot that goes into it and a lot of unexpected things. I feel like a lot of times on social media, it just looks like beautiful, which I thought the same thing. And it is awesome. And it's just such a unique way of life. But be prepared for road bumps because it's inevitable. It's going to happen whether you're on the road or not. Stuff's going to come up in life and you have to learn how to deal with it and deal with it quickly and on the fly sometimes. So even just the first couple months that I've been out here, I've had so many hiccups that I was not expecting. And I feel like your mindset and attitude about how you handle these things will be key for you. This is where I store all my kitchen supplies and my closet area. So I put these mirrors in last minute actually because I wanted it looked very plain with the white over here and you walk in. So I put the mirrors here because I felt like because it's such a small space, it really opened up the area. And honestly, it made a huge difference looking at before and after pictures. It's a huge difference. So this is the closet area. I also have mirrors inside. I like to open up both doors and like I can see the back of my hair and do whatever I need to do. So it's kind of nice having the reflection there. I put plexiglass on the front so I can kind of see everything that I have. I just swapped out my closet. So I had all my winter stuff in here originally. Now that it's hot, I have all my summer stuff in here. But this is for just chilly nights. I have extra coats, jeans, stuff that I don't really need much, but that I don't want to put in the storage up on the roof. So in case I still need to access this is where all that goes. So I feel like when you're going on this journey or you're designing your van and your build or whatever you might have, you need to figure out what works for you and your lifestyle. And because if not, it's going to be very hard to be sustainable. That's something that I've noticed. So that's why going into this build, I planned out everything in so much detail. And again, you're going to have hiccups and things are going to happen and it's not always going to go exactly as you expect. But the system that I have going on has been working very well for me so far. And I think that the way I built this out really works for my lifestyle. So this side is all of my kitchen supplies. I like to use glass for everything. So whenever going into a van, obviously things are going to like shake and rattle and break. So figuring out a kitchen design that was going to work for using glass products was a huge issue for me. I ended up finding a lot of things that have glass and then silicone around the sides. So that worked great for me. Same with like lids, finding stuff that is like stackable. This has been great so far. I have, again, everything silicone. I have these nice dishes. I do have little inserts in between these, but for the most part, everything kind of just sits in one another. So moving down here, this is my, I guess, third pantry. I also store my air fryer in here. I had a pretty large one to begin with, and I had to downsize just because it literally did not fit anywhere and it was taking up way too much space. So now in here, I just have all of like my snacks and stuff pastas, things like that. And I put as much possible in here that I can. growing up, I feel like I was always traveling with my family, and we were always just going different places. And then when I got out of high school, every year in college, I would just hop around from different apartments and places, and I always just wanted to be on the go. I love change. And I didn't like the fact that I had to leave my dogs at home. So whenever I would like go on long trips and travel or take flights, I would have to leave them, find a dog sitter, leave them with my family. And I wanted them to be able to enjoy life with me and to get to see everything that I'm seeing, because it's fun for me and I'm sure it'll be fun for them. This is my dog area. I ended up coming with the idea to have a slide out ramp. I was going back and forth between steps, but I couldn't have anything permanent that was like in my space to where I needed to be able to pull these drawers out and still work in the kitchen space whenever they were doing their thing. So 90% of the time they are either on the bed or up under in the crate area, and they can just go in and out as they please. That's kind of their space. When I'm driving, I actually have like little screws, little T-screws that go up in there, and it locks it in place so it's not sliding. But most of the time I do keep this down. I put this little foam pad under here so that it doesn't like rattle or scratch the floors or anything. So it just slides out. It has these steps so that the dogs can get up easier on there, so it doesn't like, they don't slide off or anything. So it just comes all the way out, and yeah, they get up no problem. I think it's kind of like a game for them. They enjoy running up and down it, especially in the mornings. They go nuts. This is where we sleep. I actually have a custom mattress. I basically built this for the dogs. That was my biggest concern. They all sleep with me on the bed. So they basically take up this whole bed, and I get a little sliver over here occasionally. I usually get kind of pushed to the curb. So this is a custom mattress. It was a little difficult, I will say. Most people living in a van, I feel like you do have to custom make the size of your bed, but it is difficult to find like sheets and bedding and stuff like that to fit what you got going on. I just recently came up with this little fan that's pretty great as a extra feature. I do have a Max Air fan up here. I have one in the front of the van, and then I have a Nomad 3000 AC unit in the middle. But because it does draw a good amount of power, I try to conserve as much as I can. So a lot of times I will just crack my windows open, let some airflow, and then worst comes to worst, this is really for the dogs too. In case they get hot, I kind of just point it wherever they are, and just so they can have some airflow too. I have my whole bookshelf up here. I love to read, especially for my job, just because learning new things, I need to have my resources. So I just have everything I need up here. And it also looks visually, I feel like, visually appealing. This is actually, I got this custom made. A buddy of mine custom made that for me. And that was my original design for my company. It's made out of like a tree bark and stuff. So that's pretty cool. It's a little feature I added. I do have another clothesline back here that whenever I have my doors open, it will go from one door to another, that I can just hang all my clothes out there too. I have these window shades, so at night I'll just pop them off and drop them down. It's easy to have them mounted like this because I don't have to worry about storing them or anything. So those are pretty nice to have. I have speakers all throughout the vans, throughout the entire thing. It's nice back here because whenever the doors are open and you're hanging out outside, you have music, you can be tailgating, do whatever out by camp. You just have music, good vibes. I decided to get a 4x4 just because I love going off-road. I've always had different Jeeps and trucks growing up, and I just love being more off-road than on the road. So anything going down different trails, different terrain, things like that, I wanted to make sure that this thing was capable and able to handle whatever I really throw at it. Also, traveling alone, a big thing for me was safety. Like if I ever get into a sticky situation, will I be able to get out of it? A lot of times I won't have people with me, and there won't be anyone to rely on but myself, so I gotta rely on the old beast. And so that's why I went with a 4x4. I have a front backwoods bumper, and I have the Baja fog lights up here. I have the amber and the white LEDs. I also added this was very last minute actually on this trip, I have my boat that's inflatable that I wanted to bring so badly. I had no idea where I was going to put it. And I decided to throw on this rack last minute that I had laying in the garage and put it on there. And it's actually been super easy. I went with the Backwoods Adventure extra large roof rack, put in the dual light bar from Baja. I have the ambers up there and the white LEDs, also super bright. I've tested in the snow and in some like really dusty conditions, and they have been phenomenal. So I definitely recommend the Baja lights because they have been so awesome for everything that I've done so far. So on top of the Backwoods roof rack, I have a custom storage box that goes across the entire roof. And then on top of that, I have the Tiny Watt solar panels. So I have 1,000 watts of solar, and they are on actuators, so I can just push a little button and they will come up on their own. I have a Sure Shade awning. It is actually meant for boats, but I went with it because you can leave it out in like 50-mile-an-hour winds before having to put it in. So I really like that feature just because even on a windy day like this, I don't have to worry about it. It can just hang out and do its thing. I also did not want to have an awning that had the poles that stick in the ground and that I had to mess with all that. This is all controlled by an app on your phone, so it just comes in and out. You don't have any retracting poles, anything like that. I have a security system, so all of my doors have an additional alarm on all of them, and I can arm it, disarm it. If anyone's ever near the van, I feel anything sketchy, I can actually manually turn the system on, and it's connected to all of the lights on the entire van. And then I had the security cameras around the whole van and one inside. I wanted to be able to see the dogs when I'm gone in the van. And it's a pretty nice feature to have. So this is the back side of the crate area. That is my water tank. I have the outdoor shower and a curtain I can actually put up that will cover all 4 sides so nothing in the bed area gets wet. And then I can just hook my shower up there. This also I think is pretty cool. So whenever the dogs get super dirty, I can have them hop on this, have a clean area to hose them off so they can just go in there and it won't ruin the wood or anything like that. So this is my inverter. I have the Tiny Watts 10 system. It is their biggest power bank at the moment. Being on the road, I wanted to be mostly off-grid as much as I could. So not having to hook up and relying strictly on solar and having my batteries charged was huge for me. I have my own company doing holistic nutrition and fitness. So basically I promote emotional fitness by going back to the basics of life. I have really had to find a balance in life with everything else that goes on, because if you don't take care of yourself first, everything else is just not going to work out, I feel like. So it's super important that through what I'm learning on the road, what I've learned on my own health journey, I want to be able to share that with other people. So I promote different products and services along the road. I focus on all holistic nutrition, fitness, different products that I use regularly that work for me. I love sharing different things that I find that may help somebody else. So if you are in need of anything holistically, you want to learn how to heal from within, or you just like badass stuff, I feel like I have a lot of cool finds that I love sharing with people and figuring out things that I enjoy and hoping it'll help somebody else. So if you're ever in need, let me know. You can find me at holisticwonders.com or on my social media page. It's Holistic Wonders with a W, so WHOLISTIC, Wanders, WANDERS.